r/ask Reddit. Medical professionals of Reddit. What's the funniest thing a patient has said under anesthesia? Yelling for his brother, then whispering loudly to him, check to see if I still have my dong. I think they took my dong, then proceeded to flash the whole room. Better safe than sorry. Exactly. If the dong thief is still around, you might still have a chance. Was recovering a patient after surgery who got ketamine, which has a known side effect of making you super emotional. When she woke up, she started catcalling me, telling me how attractive I was. Then she got worked up because she was thirsty, so I told her I could get her ice chips. As I am getting her ice chips, she starts to go, I hate to see you leave, but I love to see you go. As I disappear to get her some ice chips, she starts crying real tears that she scared me off and how sorry she was. Way to go. Heartbreaker. Man, I know that's just the anesthetics, but I wouldn't have taken that as a confident boost for the day. For the year. 18-year-old girl recognized the male anesthesiologist from Tinder last week and accused him multiple times of not showing up to their agreed date, while randomly falling half asleep in between. As we put her back in bed, she mumbled that she is not even mad, just generally disappointed in men and that she still thinks he's pretty. Literally one of my worst nightmares. I just had a bowel resection and was hopped up on morphine. My divorced parents hadn't sat in a room that long together in forever. My sister, uncomfortably quiet between them, tells me my junk is hanging out of my hospital gown, and I say, if my balls are hanging out, that makes this a ball gown. Really helped with the tension. Huh, this is one of the funniest in the thread for me. Not a doctor, but I was told by my dentist that when he was prepping me to remove my wisdom teeth, I asked him why he became a dentist. I vaguely remember him telling me a story about how when he was a preteen he was at a local pool, running around when he slipped and smashed his chin on concrete and shattered some of his teeth. Ouch. He was amazed at how well they reconstructed his teeth that he decided to go into dentistry. Apparently, I then looked this man in the eyes and said, well, that's a stupid frickin' reason to become a dentist. Sorry, Dr. J. Surely he took great pleasure in ripping out your wisdom teeth after that. I wonder how he reacted to that LMAO. Had a patient come into recovery after surgery. She farted so long and loud the entire 20-bed unit heard her. Then she said I was trying to clear my throat. Excuse me. And I want a vanilla latte. I got a headache. As medical professionals, we had to hold in the laughter, but that didn't stop patients from turning into hyenas. Huh. Okay. I don't know how you guys didn't laugh. We are professionals. We are good at what we do, including saving our laughter for later during our lunch break. I'm preparing to salsa dance. Stand back, everybody. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Somebody stop me. Narrator. Nobody stopped her. Young girl after a root canal said, where are my dentures? Damn. How long was she under? Not more than 30 minutes, but she took a bit to recover. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, I was babbling utter nonsense while waking up. In my mind, I was fully aware of what I wanted to say, which was, can I have my wisdom teeth? But it was coming out like Stlrajkizg. Fortunately, my partner is used to my nonsense, because I tend to do it when waking up from any deep sleep, and translated for me. She wants her wisdom teeth. The surgeon said, no, sad face. Not a medical professional, but my mum was coming out from under anesthesia after a procedure a few years ago and I was trying to help her. She puckered her lips, so I picked up a water cup and asked if she wanted some. She turned her face toward me and said, do I look like an airplane? The nurses and I completely lost it. I still tease her about it sometimes. I woke up from anesthesia after surgery. Not the ward bit, but the room after the surgery room where the nurses monitor you before they take you back to your ward. Anyways, as I was waking up, I swear I heard the nurse mention karaoke, but I could have just imagined that. Then I said I wish I went karaoke and started singing that Elvis Presley song with men say, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love very loudly. Then I just immediately blacked out. Anyways, I next remember just waking up in the recovery ward. In hindsight, I used to think those dentist videos were exaggerated where the kids are high. Absolutely not. At the time it seems perfectly logical to belt out hits from the 60s. I'm a consultant anesthetist UK and there are loads. Often declarations of love from the patient as the drugs are kicking in. My all-time favorite is a 40-something guy a few years ago. He needed a testicle removing for cancer. He never had an anesthetic before and was super nervous, to the point of barely saying anything to anyone. As the drugs started to kick in, we realized someone was quietly singing. It was the patient. Hitler, has only got one ball. Goering has two, but very small. Himmler is rather similar, but poor old Goebbels has no balls at all. This woman undergoing C-section under spinal anesthesia plus ketamine said show my baby first to my brother-in-law. He deserves to see her first. I sometimes wonder what happened to her marriage after that. Oh no. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Because maybe it's not her husband's baby. I had double jaw surgery to correct my underbite. I took sign language in college. They typically don't wire your jaw shut anymore. They just use strong rubber bands, but you can still talk. I knew I'd be able to talk. Yet when I woke up from the surgery, apparently I kept trying to sign. The nurses were like, we don't know sign language, honey. Based on how little I remember from college, I'm certain it wasn't even good sign language. I woke up from my wisdom teeth surgery trying to fingerspell. I kept going ABCD, but I couldn't remember what came after D, so I started over again. I used my Spanish. Wonderful language to speak when your mouth is stuffed with cotton balls. After having my tonsils out at 24, something got crossed in my brain and I started answering the nurses in Welsh. Since I was definitely English with an obvious Midlands accent, and we weren't even near the Welsh border at the time, there was a reasonable amount of confusion until it cleared up about 15 minutes later and I began speaking my native tongue again. I also sleep talk in Welsh occasionally. The most memorable funny one was a guy who sat bolt upright, mime rolling a cigarette and tuck it behind his ear, saving it for on when I asked what he was doing. Anesthesia can be a wild trip. The kids will always scream when they wake up. I woke up from my hysterectomy screaming in pain and begging them to make it stop. The nurse was freaked out. She was desperately trying to get meds into my IV as fast as she could, only for me to have a hive response all over my face. I must be a kid at heart, lol. Had a large skin graft and woke up absolutely consumed by pain. It was horrible. My parents were so freaked out. I always thought the nurse must have woken me up too early. I was so riddled with pain I became extremely apologetic, telling my parents I'm sorry for having cancer and this and that. It scared the living frick out of me and my parents. To this day I've never felt pain like that before. Absolutely horrible. I can only imagine what other kids in my ward were thinking. That experience haunts me. I swear I have PTSD cause anytime someone has mentioned surgery I shake. Not anesthesia, but delirium. Introduced the oncoming nurse to the patient. The patient gestured grandly around the room and said, "Nurse's name, meet all my friends," to an empty room. My dad, Italian, was waking up from anesthesia and kept looking at his Asian nurse and saying he was so glad his daughter was with him, and that he loved his daughter. The nurses were confused, so they went out into the waiting to check for his daughter. I was the only one in the waiting area, and when they saw me and started hysterically laughing. I am Korean by birth, but what adopted by my lovely Italian family, smiley face. Or this is cute smiley face, he was probably so relieved to wake up and see you. Or, not adopted, but in the foster care system waiting. I love this story. We all hope you find the perfect family, Bud, Han. I was the patient. After coming out of surgery for a hernia at the age of about 15-16, my father helped me to the bathroom in the hospital. I was pretty freaked up still and said, "Boy, Dad, I was just so worried I was going to get an erection during the procedure." He laughed and made a slicing motion with his hand, implying the doctor would have cut my dong off, and I burst into tears and threw up on myself. LOL, I bet he promptly regretted that joke. I bet he was proud. Not many people have told a dad joke so dope the kid literally cried and vomited. Well, that escalated quickly. Not medic, but patient. I had appendix surgery after a preventive 2-day fasting. Water was okay and anesthesia hit me pretty hard. When I was told I had to use one of those plastic urinals or whatever, because they said the abdominal effort could make me faint, I just said, I ain't gonna poop on a plastic tupper. If I pass out in the toilet like a hero, then let it be. That's the spirit. Congrats, you've made it to the end. You're a beast. Like and subscribe for more r/ask Reddit content. It's free, so why not just do it?